You like Italians, baby?
Oh, yeah, we like Italians. And it was a big night for the Italian American Baseball Foundation yesterday. We welcome fellow Paisan JP Morosi back to the telecast here. Hey, JP, you were honored by the Italian American Baseball Association, weren't you?
Grazie mille, grazie ancora. Sì, è un grande piacere di parlare con voi. Yes, a number of years ago, I was honored there at an amazing banquet, thanks to Joe Quagliano, Carmine Gangone, and of course to have Mike Piazza flying from his home. And yes, he lives now in Italy, in Parma. For him to fly there to be part of the celebration last night just shows how serious he is about growing the game in Italy. So it really is, I think, a model for how to grow the sport around the world, and I know as an Italian American, I'm very proud of what the organization has done. So great job to Mike. In bocca lupo durante il Classico Mondiale de Baseball.
Mi piace, awesome. Mike Piazza. Very good. Good stuff. Awesome. Let's move you on to the free agent market. Hey, and if a team is looking for a power bat, what's the more likely avenue to finding that magic bat that you're looking for? Is it through the trade market, or is it with an available free agent player? And maybe give us an example of a player that fits both of those parameters.
Yes, so certainly we've talked a lot about Aaron Judge and to some extent Brandon Nimmo, but I'll give you two more names that I want to make sure that we emphasize and talk about a lot as we approach next week. First, the trade market. Tyler O'Neill, St. Louis Cardinals. I could also include Lars Nootbaar in this conversation as well, potentially even Dylan Carlson. But the Cardinals have this surplus of outfielders from which I do expect they will make a trade at some point in time this offseason, perhaps even in conversation with the Blue Jays about a catcher to eventually replace Yadier Molina. And of course, as we've seen it there, Tyler O'Neill can really scrutinize the ability of our own Scott Braun and Mark DeRosa to do their push-ups on a beautiful spring day in Jupiter, Florida. Now, as it relates to the free agent market, Mitch Haniger has had a lot of interest in him as well that I would mention, and we see Tyler's numbers here the last 2 years, and we'll see as well if Tyler ends up playing for his home country, Canada, in the World Baseball Classic as well. And here's the aforementioned Mitch Haniger. I was told this week both the Red Sox and Texas Rangers with interest in Mitch Haniger. I think Mitch is someone who was a real driving force behind the Mariners getting back to the postseason. As Harold watched that team certainly very closely, his numbers did drop from 2021 to 2022. But if you look at, had these two seasons flipped, and if he had his platform year, a 39-homer year in 2022 as opposed to 2021, we'd be talking about him in that next tier of bats down from Aaron Judge. Certainly Judge is number one, we know that. But it's that next group, Nimmo, Mitch Haniger as well, that I would say deserves a lot of attention. Andrew Benintendi is part of that mix as well. But I think Mitch Haniger is someone that gives you a lot of power and who I think once Aaron Judge goes off the board, teams like the Red Sox and Rangers would be a very good fits for Mitch Haniger.
So JP, two things. One, on Mitch Haniger, is there any chance he goes back to Seattle? And two, will we see a blockbuster trade at the winter meetings?
I think number one on the Mariners, unlikely just because they got Teoscar Hernandez, and he is now going to be their new right fielder. If they make another move for an outfielder, I expect it's going to be more of a left-handed option like a Michael Conforto or a Brandon Nimmo to potentially play left field. So I would say Haniger back to Seattle, very unlikely at this stage. Blockbuster trade in general, I love the question, Harold. I do think it depends on how one defines a blockbuster. We're not going to see something like A-Rod to the Yankees from years ago, but I do think we'll see some significant moves. I think the Cardinals moving an outfielder will happen. The Brewers, as we talked about yesterday, they've got a number of players to move. I believe they'll move at least one of them, whether it's a Woodruff or Burns in the rotation or a Wong, Willie Adames in the position player group. I think the Brewers will make a significant move. The Jays, I believe, will move a catcher. And probably Danny Jansen, the most likely one of them to go. We could see Cleveland move a starter like a Zach Plesac or an Aaron Savali. So I do expect we will see a player move from that group on the pitching front. But the free agent pitching market is so good. And we talked about Matthew Boyd, or we will probably hear later on in the segment. I think we're seeing Matthew Boyd go off the board. Jamison Tyon's got a really good market there. There's enough supply of starting pitchers in the free agent side that I think the trade market might wait a bit among the starting pitchers.
Yeah, a good point. Up against a break here, Matt Boyd signing a one-year deal to go back to Detroit. The idea of Mitch Haniger in Boston is fascinating. That just sounds like a marriage made in heaven. We'll see if that dot connects at the winter meetings, too. JP, good stuff.